God's about to give you an encounter. God is about to give you an encounter this year, like a real encounter, one that's undeniable, one that you will ultimately know it was him. Since we was talking about day 6 of the creation story, we might as well talk about all of the days. Let's start at day 1, right? Day 1, in the beginning, God creates the heavens and the earth. What does that mean? God creates the spiritual realm. God creates the earth as it was waiting, because the earth was chaotic and unfinished. It was formless. It was a void. It was no order there. It was awaiting God to come bring order and structure. Now, that was what happened, but that's not the first act of creation in detail. The first act of creation in detail is actually in Genesis 1:3. And it says, God said, let there be light, and there was light. Light came into existence, right? Light was the first specific element God formed and organized within creation of heavens and the earth. It was light first, right? Keep that in mind. Light came first. It was the first element first, right? What is the importance of light, right? When we think about light, light provides life. When we think about plants, plants require light to grow. When we think about day and night, if light is present to us, we know that there is a new cycle, a new day that has come. When light is not present, we know that it's ending, the day is ending. Light marks time, right? If you've ever gotten up and walked down a dark hallway where there was no light in sight, you understand that light would be so important in that case because it allows for visibility. It allows you to be able to see where you're going. It allows you to navigate. When you're without light, quote unquote, when you're in darkness, you are not able to navigate. When you're in darkness, there's really no proof of life. When you're in darkness, there's no proof of a shift in time and day or night. You don't really know what's happening. There's no telling, there's no markings to let you know that something has shifted. So let's think about light spiritually for a second. When you look at Psalms 104:2, it says, he wraps himself in light as with a garment. Light represents God's presence. When I say God is about to give you an encounter this year, I'm telling you that God is about to give you an encounter of his presence. A lot of us are about to experience the presence of God that we have longed to experience. And you will know it's the presence of God because it will resemble light. Light also symbolizes truth and revelation. When we think about light in comparison to darkness, anything that's in dark is usually deceitful. It's usually wicked. It's usually evil. It's just bad. It's not good. And then God comes in and says, let there be light, giving us a stark contrast of the darkness that first existed after the earth was formless and void. He says, let there be light. And light came. Truth and revelation came to the world. Truth and revelation was now hovering over the earth. Truth and revelation was now imparted into the earth. So what is light? Also, light is separation from chaos. Where there is darkness, you know there's chaos. Where there is darkness, you know there's confusion. Where there is light, it's no chaos. Where there is light, there's no confusion. Why? Because the exposure of what you're seeing, you now can make sense of what you see. You can make sense of what you're witnessing. You can make sense of what's going on around you. Why? Because light has now exposed it. So, when I say God is about to give you an encounter this year, I'm telling you that God is about to give you an encounter with light. And you're probably like, what do you mean? What do you mean? In the Bible, who is light? When you look at John chapter 8, verses 12 through 30, Jesus declares, I am the light of the world. So this year, God is about to give you an encounter with Jesus. And I think it's so important that when you look at the creation story, that the first act of creation in detail was God saying light must come first. On the first day, God's first act of creation was ensuring that light came first. Quote unquote, if we look at the New Testament, who is light? Jesus. God is saying Jesus must come first. Because without light, darkness will continue to cover the world. And without Jesus, darkness will continue to triumph over the world. And without Jesus, wickedness will still continue to go throughout the world. And without Jesus, we will all be dead to the sins of this world, because there would be no chance of us ever being saved. The thing about light is, if you ever been sleeping in the bed with your covers over your head and someone walks into your room and your covers off your head, but they want you to get up, they shine light and it gives you an abrupt, like you get startled. You get so startled to the point that you have to squint and you get a little disoriented because you're not used to seeing light for so long. And the first time we encounter Jesus, it will be a feeling of disorientation. Why? Because it's unusual. It's the opposite of what many of us have been living in, meaning that God is about to come in and shift how you've been living. He's going to shift your story. He's going to shift what you've been experiencing. He's about to let light shine through, because where there is lightness, darkness cannot prevail. And the beautiful thing about light, right? The beautiful thing about Jesus, beautiful thing about the symbolism of Jesus being light, is that light brings clarity. Many of us want clarity all the time, but we go to the world, which is full of darkness, for clarity. And God is like, actually, come to me. I am light. Light brings clarity. Light brings order, right? On the first day, the world was in chaos. The earth was formless. It was without void. It had no structure until light came and gave order. And then light allows for direction. If you're in a dark tunnel, you're not going to keep going in the direction of darkness. You're going to go and look for a little peak of light. You're going to look for that inch of light glowing, and you're going to move towards it. And the thing about moving towards light in that context, in that example, is the closer you get to light, the larger it begins to shine. The more it begins to illuminate, the bigger the light seems to be. God's about to give you an encounter this year. We're about to experience God for the first-hand experience. A first-hand experience that no one is going to be able to deny. No one is going to be able to tell us otherwise, because we're going to know that what we experienced in that moment was nothing the world could ever give us. And it's definitely nothing the world could ever take away.